We need to stop overhyping these games. Wait, don't freak out. I like Starfield. But there are some glaring issues that I think everybody should be aware of before they pick up this game. Because every single person that's going to pick up Starfield is going to experience these problems eventually, at some point. Now, it's not all going to be negative, because there are definitely some strong positives here. But I do want to start with the negatives because the negatives are super prevalent when you're first starting the game. And at no point I think they ever going to go away. Simply because a lot of the negatives have to do with how the game works. The first negative that I'm going to start with is the biggest one. There is so much dead space in this game that it's not even funny. What do I mean by dead space? Dead space as in where nothing is happening. They touted this as an exploration game, which is like sort of correct. Because if you have to walk 1,000 meters to get somewhere and there's just nothing in between where you're coming from and when you're going, I guess that counts as exploration. But is it fun exploration? Not all the time. My experience with Starfield has been much like Skyrim. You don't have to do the main story. You can just go where you want to go, essentially. And Starfield is much the same way. So that's exactly what I did in the middle of one of the main missions. I just dipped out and started doing my own thing. And one of the crazier things is they really don't hold you back. You can really just go wherever you want to. But getting anywhere is a hassle. Not because it's hard, but because it's boring. On day of release, I plan to stay up till like 4 o'clock in the morning, just grinding away, having the time of my life. But I cut it short at like an hour and a half because I'm getting tired. I think I literally stood on top of a mountain, looked across, saw 2 objectives that were equally 500 meters away from me and in the opposite directions. And I was like, nope, I do not have the energy to walk this distance just to figure out what's over there and then have to walk the combined distance to figure out what's at the other place. I just didn't have the energy in me. So I went to sleep. And I didn't feel like I was missing much. I had to look it up because it was getting atrocious, but it seems like they have no intention of adding like any kind of ground vehicles or anything like that to make this traversal a little easier, a little more interesting. And the worst part about it is not every objective that you're gonna go to has stuff to see. It's a gamble, meaning you could spend 10 minutes walking to a location and see nothing, get nothing. It's like the biggest spit in the face because, like I said, the point A to point B stuff is already boring enough. Having to go through it and then receiving nothing at the end of it is a punch in the face and can lead to some frustration while playing the game, admittedly. And then when you talk about space, it's the exact same way, actually. Like, the experience that you'll have on the ground is about the same experience that you'll have in space. And we'll get to like how space works because it is disappointing how space works. With space, you'll have your interesting landmarks and then you can go investigate those landmarks and see what's happening at those landmarks. Very much so the exact same like it is on the ground. Imagine the problems that are on the ground are the exact same in space, but it's kind of like amplified in space because space feels more empty, because at least when you're on the ground there is a level of attention that you do have to pay to get from point A to point B, whether it be jumping over rocks, managing your stamina, so on and so forth. Maybe you run across like a cool deposit or something that you might need. But in space it's kind of just empty for the most part. So it's like the ground, but somehow even shallower. That's like the bigger issues, the exploration part of it. Then we can get into combat and how that plays. It's okay. It's nothing to write home about, especially in the early hours, because I'm about 10 hours in right now, and I really hope the guns eventually get better, but like every gun that I've found so far can't shoot straight, and it feels impossible to get ammo, or at least a decent amount of ammo, for any of these guns that I'm finding. And this is coming from someone who hasn't really dealt with the traders much yet, but I have just been running through outposts, going to different planets, exploring space stations, just taking out enemies. I've killed many, 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 many enemies, and I can say for certain that these enemies are not dropping a sufficient amount of ammo. If you go into an outpost without 300, 400 bullets maybe, and your combined total bag, you're gonna run out. Like, you're absolutely gonna run out. If you run in with anything less, I promise you at some point you're going to run out of ammo, and you're gonna have to resort to using the cutter. So don't throw that away. That cutter has literally saved my life multiple times, just from the simple fact that 1, it has infinite ammo, and 2, it just shoots straight. I'm not going to talk about gun damage. I'm not going to talk about elemental effects or things like that, only because I don't have enough experience with it, and I assume because I'm a low level, I'm not going to have the best experience with it, because, you know, I'm a lower level, I'm going to do less damage, I'm not going to have the craziest gun, so on and so forth. That will probably come later on in the game, to my assumption. But like right now, it's kind of bad. Like, it is kind of bad. Maybe that's an issue unique to me, maybe I'm doing something wrong, but every single enemy I kill, I always make sure to take the ammo and the credits off their body. Those are the two main things that I take every single time. So it's not like I'm not picking up ammo. I am picking up ammo, but it's just not enough. I hate that they did it like this. I genuinely hate that they did it like this. But getting from one planet to another planet is just like menu select. It's not as manual as I would have liked it to be. With how distant you or how close you are to the planet, if you're flying directly to it, it's not going to get any closer. So to get into a planet, you got to go back into the menu, select the planet, and then pick where you want to land, and then there's a cutscene for you to land. But if you're on a planet and you have to get to another planet, you have to load into your ship, go into orbit, go into the other star system, go to the planet, go to the planet, and then you're in the planet's orbit. Then you go onto the planet, and then you select where you want to land. It gets boring. It gets boring if you're not actively doing something. When I'm talking about like downtime, when you're just trying to find quests or you're just trying to level up, it is boring. There are times where you find something interesting. Like, this is where we can start like kind of rolling into the positives of the game. Like, okay, once you get to point B, and this is like a semi-positive because it's very hit or miss. It is very, 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 very hit or miss. I stated it a little earlier, but let's say you start at point A and you get to point B. Point B, unless it's an objective, it's like a dice roll of what you're getting yourself into. You're either getting into absolutely nothing, so you spent all that boring amount of time getting to absolutely nothing, or you're getting into something really cool. It's literally two ends of the spectrum, and there's no controlling what you're getting yourself into. Well, I mean, technically there is a way through questing. Like, if you're for sure going to an objective, you know this boring amount of time is leading to something. But if you're just out and about and exploring like they kind of want you to do, it's a dice roll. You don't know what you're getting yourself into. As I'm going through, I'm noticing that you are getting more. There's more stuff that you can do, like, for sure. It's getting better and better the more and more I play it, but that glaring issue that I stated at first will always be a thing. But yeah, this is like it's not even so much like a rant video or anything like that. It's just things that people need to be aware of before they step foot in this game. I'm still really early in, so some of my other complaints, I don't know if I can keep them as complaints, All I can say is that they're complaints right now, and then I'm pretty sure everybody's gonna have to experience it at one point. If you're trying to be as explorative as the game kind of wants you to be, it's gonna suck. Like, it's gonna suck. I'm gonna tell you right now. If you're one of those people that just likes to follow storylines and doesn't like to do like the extra side stuff, you'll be fine as well. Hey, let me know what you guys think. Are you enjoying Starfield right now? How much fun are you having with it? If you haven't got it yet, are you still excited seeing everything that's coming out about it? Or were you not excited before? Now you are excited? Like, let me know what's going on. Let me know how your brain is working. Like and subscribe. Peace.